Hi everyone, welcome to session on CS22071 Agile methodology presented by R. Samundi, Assistant Professor of Computer Science and Engineering. Today we are going to see the topic as current Agile practices from Unit 4, that is Agility and Requirements Engineering in our. So this is the current Agile practices, a overview of how Agile is applied today. In our previous discussion we explored how Agile is transformed requirements engineering. Now let's look at how Agile is practiced today across industries, framework, and even beyond the software. This session will give you a 360-degree view of what Agile looks like in a real world applications, from Scrum and Kanban to modern trends like AI driven Agile and DevOps integrations. Let's begin with a quick reminder. Agile is not just a process, it is a mindset. It is not a dogma. Many people think Agile is the fixed method, but in reality, Agile is a philosophy. It's built on the four values of the Agile Manifesto and focus on adaptability, teamwork, delivering the customer value. Teams apply Agile through different frameworks and tools, often creating their own hybrid methods to fit their goals. So, the goal of today's session is to explore the most current Agile practices, how companies use Scrum, Kanban, XP, and scaled models, along with the modern engineering techniques like CI/CD. Now, let's see the most common frameworks that shape the Agile today. Agile is not one size fits all. There are multiple frameworks that teams are used depending on the size and goals. Let's go through the dominant Agile framework, that is number 1, Scrum, the most popular. It is the iterative with the clear roles, ceremonies, and artifacts. It brings the structure and rhythm to Agile projects. And second one is the Kanban. It focuses on continuous flows and visualizing work on boards. It's flexible and ideal for teams managing the ongoing task. And next one is the extreme programming. It emphasizes technical excellence through practices like pair programming and test driven development. It often used with the Scrum. And fourth one is scaled Agile frameworks, that is SAFE LESS, used by the large organizations to coordinate multiple Agile teams working together. So, among the Scrum forms a foundation for many Agile teams. Let's look deeper into this core practices, that is the foundational practices, the Scrum core. Scrum is built around a few powerful rituals that keep the teams aligned and productive. Here is the core cycle. Number 1, sprint planning. At the start of your sprint, the team collaborates to decide what can be delivered and how to do it. In second one, daily stand-up. A short meeting on every day where all the members shares what they did yesterday, what they will do today and what's blocking them. Everything they will have a meeting and they will have the discussion about the requirements, developers and testers, all those things. And next one is sprint review, a demo for stakeholders showing the how much they are completed the completed work and collecting the feedback immediately from the stakeholders. And fourth one is the sprint retrospective, a reflection meeting to discuss what went well and what can improve and set action points for the next sprint. Now let's see how these activities form a continuous cycle in Scrum. Now we'll see the Scrum workflow cycle. This diagram shows how each event connects. We start with the sprint planning where the goals and tasks are defined. Then we move into the daily stand-ups for daily progress tracking. At the end, we hold a sprint review to evaluate completed, how much work is completed, and a sprint retrospective to reflect and improve. It is a continuous loop. Every sprint builds on the lesson from the last. Next, let's move to another vital part of the Agile, how we handle requirements using user stories and backlogs. That is the foundational practices, user stories and backlogs. In Agile, we replace lengthy requirements documents with user stories. They describe functionality from the user's perspective, short, simple and focused on value. For example, as a user, I want to filter a search result so I can find a product faster. Now we organize work through two main backlogs. The product backlog, which holds all future work in a priority order. And next one is the sprint backlog, which is the subset chosen for the current sprint. So both are living documents constantly updated as a new feedback arrives. Now let's look at how this cycle of user stories actually works in a practice. So this is the user story management cycle diagram. This diagram shows how user stories evolve over time. We start by creating user stories, then we review and update them based on the stakeholders' feedback. Next, we prioritize which stories deliver the most value, execute them during sprints, and finally add new stories to the backlog as needs emerge. It is an ongoing process that keeps the product closely aligned with the user expectations. Agile is not just about the process, it is also about the technical excellence. Let's see how engineering practice support the agility in technical excellence. So, agile teams rely on strong technical practices to ensure the quality and speed. Let's discuss the keynotes. Continuous integration, regularly merging the code into shared repository where automated test check for issues, and second one is continuous delivery or deployment, automating the release pipeline so software is always ready to deploy. And next one is test driven development, writing the test before the code itself to maintain reliability and avoid defects. Fourth one is pair programming, two developers coding together, one types, the other views in real time. These practices connect into seamless flow, the CI CD pipeline. Here, how the pipeliners works means it starts with the code where developer create a features, then build, we compile the package, the software. Next is test where automation ensures quality. Finally, deploy, delivering the product to the user, creating a real value. This cycles repeats continuously, making delivery fast, reliable, low risk. So now that we have covered the foundations, now let's explore what's new, the emerging trends in agile. Agile has moved beyond software. Today, departments like marketing, HR, finance also use the agile principles to manage the work. For example, marketing team uses the Kanban board to visualize the campaigns, and HR team may run sprints to roll out a new training program. This cross-functional adoption shows that Agile is not just framework, it is the universal approach to collaborations and value delivery. Alongside this expansion, Agile also cutting edge technologies, so integration with the AI and DevOps. Artificial intelligence and DevOps are reshaping agile delivery. Agile artificial intelligence helps with the project estimation, testing automations, and risk prediction. Predictive agile analytics use to data to forecast sprint outcomes and identify the bottlenecks. And agile and DevOps together form a powerful combination. Agile focus on people and process, while DevOps ensure the automation and speed. Even with all this innovation, many teams are returning to agile roots, its original mindset. So this diagram explains the DevOps cycle with the agile integration. Here, the number one is the plan, define the project goals and tasks. So, based on the project goals, we have to code, write and review the code, and then build the code, that is compile and package the code. Finally, test, execute and automate the test, and then monitor, track the performance and issues, and operate, that is manage and maintain the system. After that, before the final, deploy the code, implement the changes to production. Finally, release the products or software and prepare for the deployment. In the next slide, we'll see the emerging trends. Here return to fundamentals. Interestingly, after years of complex tools and frameworks, organizations are now returning to the core principles of agility. They are focusing on outcomes over output, measuring the success by the customer value, not just features. Next one is the hybrid methodologies, combining the Scrum and Kanban into flexible models like Scrum Ban, and importantly, reviewing the true agility mindset, where adaptability is matter more than labels. So, where does the evaluation takes us? Let's summarize. Agile today is the beautiful blend of classic and modern practices, from Scrum and Kanban to CI/CD, AI integration and hybrid models. Agile continues to evolve, expanding beyond IT, aligning with DevOps and rediscovering its true spirit of continuous improvement and flexibility. So, being truly agile means adapting the practices to fit your team while always focusing on delivering the highest value to the customer. So, thank you for the listening. I hope this gave you a clear view of how Agile continues to evolve, not as the fixed process but as a living philosophy.